Yeah, Duke, you there? Is he muted?
I'm here.
Okay, all right, thanks. Just making sure you could hear us. We're gonna start in just a second.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, no worries.
This called meeting of the Dublin City Council is hereby called to order. At this time, I would ask for Councilman Richard Mascara to provide the invocation. Please remain standing after the invocation for the pledge to the flag.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for all the gifts that you give us. Lord, you are the beginning and end of everything we should say, think, and do. Lord, I ask that you preside over this council meeting today and let us make good decisions for the citizens of our community. Lord, I ask that you watch over our country in this time of political uncertainty. I ask that you lift all of the hearts of our leadership up and ask that they act in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Please bless this council meeting and all the citizens of our country. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all for coming to this call meeting on short notice. We have an agenda item of just two items. The first is an executive session if needed to discuss personnel. My recommendation is that we do not go into executive session, that the personnel matter that we are here to discuss it does not involve a termination or any discussion of that because the resignation's already been submitted, and I think it would be a good idea just to make any comments that we have in public for full transparency. However, if anyone wants to make a motion for executive session, this would be the time to do it. Okay, if there is no motion for executive session, we'll now move to item number 2 on the agenda, which is discussion and action on a resolution to appoint an interim city clerk. At this time, I think that it would be appropriate for me to make some comments regarding the situation that we currently have, and after those comments, we can have a motion, if that's all right with council members. To give a recap, on Monday afternoon, Special Agent Wilkes of GBI Region 12, located in Eastman, Georgia, notified our city manager that there was an investigation of our former city clerk, Heather Browning, based on a referral from the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department regarding financial issues related to her work as treasurer for the Cedar Grove Methodist Church. Mr. Powell immediately informed myself and the city treasurer that that investigation was underway and immediately began review of any risk to the city in case our clerk had done anything improper here. Within a few hours, Mr. Powell received additional information that cause existed to seek an arrest warrant for Ms. Browning related to her actions at the church. At that time, all access to the building and computer systems and email systems was terminated for Ms. Browning. We spoke with her, and she came to City Hall, and she offered to resign. I suggested that that was the appropriate thing to do to end this immediately so that we didn't have to go through termination proceedings with the full City Council. She signed a resignation on the spot, and I accepted it on behalf of the city. So as of Monday afternoon, she was no longer our city clerk, and as of earlier that afternoon, she had no access to the building or any computer systems. So at this time, we will need to appoint an interim city clerk because there are certain duties that are required for our city to function, to have a city clerk. This interim clerk would serve until council can make a determination about how we want to move forward with the city clerk. For full transparency's sake, though, I do want to provide the public with information about the controls that the City of Dublin has on our handling of the city's money. Now, I think it's important that we be fully transparent about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So obviously, this is something that nobody wants to happen in any organization that they're part of. We obviously place trust in somebody who did not live up to that trust. So we've got to own that and accept responsibility for it. What we do need to do, though, is take this moment to make sure that the processes that we have as a city protect the taxpayers' money and to protect the services that we have. So I've spent a good bit of time with our city manager and with our city treasurer to review the processes and to see exactly what we have in place to make sure that the public has trust in our handling of their funds. So, and at any time that I get any of this wrong, I'd ask our city treasurer to chime in, our city manager to chime in. But there are only about 3 ways that anybody who works for the city has access to city money. The first is through checks that are issued, checks or ACHs. The second is through bank account transfers. And the third is through cash drawers. Now, the most common way that we pay money is through checks. To have a check issued from the city of Dublin to a third party or even to an employee, it requires an extensive process. There has to be a requisition, basically somebody with a department saying they need some work or some product done. That has to be documented with information from the vendor that is providing that work or that product. Once that documentation is created, it goes through a first level approval, which is normally through a department head. That first level approval is required in order to generate a purchase order. If it is $1,000 or less, then you just need those 2 people, the document requester, that documentation from the vendor, and your department head approval. At that point, it creates a purchase order through the purchasing department. The purchasing department will then ask the vendor to provide the work or the product. And then after that work or product is done, the vendor will send an invoice to accounts payable. Accounts payable, which is of course a different department, then verifies that the service or the product was actually received. Once they have verified that, then they create a check run. The check run is the payments to all the vendors for the services that are provided. That check run is personally reviewed by our city treasurer and our city manager before it goes out. If it is approved, then the accounts payable department will print a check. A list of all approved checks is then sent to the bank so that the bank will not honor a check unless it's on the approved check list. And then a list of all checks and payments is sent to city council for our review at each meeting. And all of you have seen this, the long list of payments issued by the city of Dublin in the prior 2 to 3 weeks. If any city council member has a question about any payment to any vendor, we call either our city manager or our city treasurer to ask about those payments. I know that I've called on multiple occasions. I know all of you have called and asked questions as well. That's part of our oversight duties. Now, that's for issues that are under $1,000. If it's over $1,000, you don't even get the purchase order unless it's personally approved by our city manager. So this is the system that we have in place to protect the use of public funds. Of course, if it's over $15,000, then before the purchase order is created, we as a council have to approve it. Now, I know that we come to a lot of council meetings, and sometimes the public is bored because it's $20,000 for a piece that's going to go into the sanitation department. It's $25,000 for some pipe. It's what seems like minor things, and you wonder, why are we having to do this in public session? When the reason is that if it's over $15,000, it's your money. It's the public's money. We've got to be certain that it's the appropriate use of the money. And some of the times when we talk about it in pre-council, we say, we're not sure that that's an appropriate use of city's money. Will you take it off the agenda so that we can investigate further? That happened just a few meetings ago. So anytime that there's any purchase that's over $15,000, you've got 8 people in addition to the city manager and the city treasurer that are also reviewing it. So let's talk specifically about any exposure that the city may have had to the city clerk's role if she was doing something inappropriate or wanted to do something inappropriate at the city level. She was a first level approval for the clerk's budget, obviously, for Riverview Golf Course since December of 2024, for customer service related to the gas department only, and for elections. So, you know, one of the things that we that our city treasurer is currently reviewing is all first-level approvals that she did for purchases under $1,000 related to those departments. Now, again, anything over $1,000 would have had to go to our city manager for approval. And also, anything that was approved under $1,000 by her also had to have documentation from the vendor and a request from the actual requester at the departmental level, which for her was Jamie, I believe. And so that means that anything would have had to have been initiated through Jamie before Heather could even approve it. We do not believe that there's any inappropriate payments that came about through that process because of the multiple layers of oversight that are provided. Despite that belief that it appears that there would be nothing that she could have done inappropriately by herself, our city treasurer is reviewing all transactions that she did approvals on. As of this moment, and I think that you are still working on this morning, we've seen nothing inappropriate come about. So again, when that review is complete, we'll inform all of council to make sure that everyone knows that all those accounts have been reviewed. The second way that money moves in the city of Dublin is through account transfers between bank accounts. There are times when we move money from savings accounts to operating accounts or from grant accounts to general usage accounts. It is important to note that our city clerk had no access to bank accounts. So there was no way for our city clerk to move money out of a bank account. It just couldn't happen. She was not on any approved list for any account movement. Also, it's important to know that that account transfer process is only allowed for transfers between City of Dublin accounts. So you can't transfer money through a online banking system outside of City of Dublin accounts. So there's no way for that money to have gone from a direct bank account request to any third party. Also, every account transfer of every size has to be approved by our city treasurer and our city manager. The next way that somebody can access money as a City of Dublin employee is through reimbursement requests. And our city treasurer has reviewed all reimbursement requests from our city clerk and has found that there were very few reimbursement requests and all of those had appropriate documentation. Finally, there are a couple of cash drawers at the City of Dublin. Those cash drawers have to be balanced each day by whoever is on shift, where the amount of money in the cash drawer matches with receipts. Those funds are then taken with the receipts to the accounting department, which verifies that those match. If it doesn't balance, it creates a discrepancy report, which is investigated by our city treasurer. And we also have cameras on all of our cash drawers in any department where any cash is operated. There have been a few months where our city clerk was responsible for taking the cash after it had balanced from the cash drawer at the golf course for deposits. And from our review of that, there were no discrepancies in any of those deposit transactions. So those are the ways that anyone with the City of Dublin can access funds. I've gone through this detailed list so that the public can understand the extensive controls and protocols that we have in place to protect the public's money. I want full transparency on this. I want to make sure that everyone knows exactly how seriously we take our handling of the city's money. And everything that we've seen so far is that our city clerk had no access to bank accounts, had no improper reimbursement requests, no discrepancies were noted in any deposit transactions related to cash, and that we have seen no improper check requests come through any of the departments that she had supervision over. It appears at this point that that her actions were related to her church only, where she was the only signer on one particular bank account that created issues. So it is, if we receive any information different from that, we will make it public so that the public understands what the situation is. At this time, if any council members have any questions of our city manager or our city treasurer regarding these circumstances, this would be a great time for any of those questions, or if any of you have, we will have a comment period at the end, but if you have any questions or comments related to this particular issue, now would be an opportunity for that.
No questions, but, I would just like to thank y'all for jumping on this as swiftly as you did, and again, being detailed and providing the transparency to the public. Thank you.
I did ask Josh about her credit card use, but he did tell me that they balance it out every time it's used, so that's all I had.
Anybody else? Okay, if there are no other questions, then at this time, we can have a motion related to the appointment of an interim city clerk.
Mayor, I'll make the motion that we appoint our city treasurer, Blake Daniels, as interim city clerk.
All right, so we have a motion from Councilman Brown with a second from Councilman Griggs to appoint our city treasurer as interim city clerk. That is a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on this motion?
Can you explain exactly what duties and roles he will be taking over and how that will affect the election?
Yes, sir. Well, the city clerk's responsibilities are primarily record keeping, attesting contracts and official documents of the city, and then taking official minutes of the council meetings. As y'all know, Ms. Browning had been given some additional responsibilities related to the golf course because of her prior experience with operating a golf course, which was a temporary solution. And so that will not be something that Mr. Daniels is taking on. We're going to be handling that otherwise. Particularly to the election, we have been in contact, Mr. Poole and I, as well as Ms. Shepherd, our paralegal, have been in contact with the registrar's office. And as you know, we already contract with the Board of Elections, the County Board of Elections, to run our early voting. And so they're handling that already. The only issue now is the election day and who is actually serving in the role of the election superintendent, as it's been known as. So that is something that we are working with them on, and we'll likely have an agreement similar to what you've already approved. It will just include and encompass election day and serving in the role of the election superintendent. We're going now and verifying that all the notices for the newspaper have been done and are being done, and that's being taken care of. So at either possibly tomorrow's meeting or a meeting that we may need to call later on, we may have a contract for you guys to approve to get them to do that. I will say I did speak with Councilman Jones, who I know was not going to be able to be here for this meeting this morning due to a doctor's appointment, and he agreed with the appointment of Mr. Daniels, as well as using the county Board of Elections to do the election day activities and duties.
All right, that was a good question. Any other questions?
Have we already posted this job? As you say interim, but we don't know how long Blake will be the interim.
We haven't gotten that far yet. We'll probably need to have a meeting with the personnel committee and kind of discuss, the council's wish going forward.
Yeah, I think the job description for city clerk is pretty much set out in the charter, but sometimes you add a little more or move some duties around a little bit. But hopefully we can get a personnel committee meeting together very quickly. Who's on the personnel committee? I know Chris
Pollenville.
Chris Pollenville, that's right. So we'll be in touch with you guys to try to get something set up and just make sure how the personnel committee wants to structure the job search. And then we can report back to council after that committee meeting. Any other questions? All right, at this time, all those in favor of appointing Blake Daniels as interim city clerk, please raise your hand. All right, anyone opposed? All right, on a 6-0 vote, that doesn't have to be a roll call vote, does it? I just wanted to make sure. On a 6-0 vote, Blake Daniels is appointed interim city clerk. I believe that you need to take an oath. Would you like to come forward to take the oath?
Please raise your right hand. Do you, Robert Blake Daniels, solemnly swear that you will well and truly perform the duties of city clerk for the city of Dublin as required by the law to the best of your skill and ability, and in the best interest and welfare of the city, without fear, favor, or affection, that you will support and defend the constitutions of the United States of America, the state of Georgia, and the charter and ordinances of the city of Dublin, that you are not the holder of any office of trust under the government of the United States, any other state, or any foreign state which you are prohibited from holding by the laws of the state of Georgia, and that you are not the holder of any unaccounted for public money due this state or any political subdivision or authority thereof, so help you God.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Daniels, for your willingness to serve in this capacity. You have definitely been a tremendous resource for city council members, not just before this incident, but for all the time that I've been in this capacity. I've certainly appreciated your knowledge and your comprehensive understanding of our city's finances and keeping us in good shape, and I'm sure that you'll do the same as city clerk. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you, Blake.
All right. At this time, we have no other agenda items unless there's a motion to amend the agenda, so there's not.
The only other question that we need an answer to, I just want to make sure that the council wants to do, there was an employment contract with Ms. Browning that provided for severance pay if she gave 2 months' notice, and I'm assuming that the council does not want to pay that out. Is that correct?
Correct.
That would be consistent, and our attorney's on the line, and I think has reviewed that and can concur. The only other issue is per that agreement, she's also to be treated like any other employee with her annual leave payout, and we have historically paid that out. It's up to 280 hours that we would pay out, and we have been paying that out regardless of the circumstances of their departure on the recommendation of our employment attorney, Mr. Patrick Lale, with Ellerby Thompson. But I leave that, she's an appointee of the council, so I leave that to you for giving us direction on.
All right. On that matter, I think we may need to get some advice from council on that.
Okay.
So if you can ask the city's employment law counselor to maybe be on a conference call with us, maybe at not this meeting, but the next meeting. We can go into executive session to see what our legal options are related to that.
Okay.
But just to be clear, because I heard some voices, but there was an issue about whether or not the severance payment under her contract would be paid, which the contract required 2 months' notice, which we did not receive. So is there any council member, if any council member wants to make that severance payment, you would need to make a motion now. If there is not a motion, that severance payment will not be paid. Okay, so there is no motion to pay the severance payment, so the severance payment will not be paid under the contract. And the other issue related to days,
It's annual leave.
yeah, the annual leave, we will consult with our employment law attorney to make sure that we're in compliance with employment law before we make a decision on that. All right, any other items that we need to discuss? All right, at this time, we will receive citizens' comments. If any citizen would like to make a comment, this is your opportunity. You have 3 minutes. Any citizens' comments? All right. If there are no citizens' comments, we'll now turn it over for council comments. And Mr. Daniels, our city treasurer, city clerk, any comments? All right, thank you. Mr. Brown.
I think I've said earlier what I wanted to say, but just thank staff for jumping on this situation and providing full transparency to the public. And let's come into a quick resolve with the employment situation. And I'm thankful that I have someone of the knowledge and background of Blake Daniels that's willing to step into that role and take the appointment. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Brown. Councilman Godfrey.
I just want to thank you, Blake, for stepping in and stepping up in the interim. I'm really sad about Heather, but life is life, I guess. And I just ask that you all keep her in your prayers. That's all I can say. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Godfrey. Councilman Colby.
As I listened to Mr. Poole give the oath again to Blake Daniels, it really hit me hard what we are signing up for when we come into these roles. We are here at the trust of the public, and I cannot thank Blake enough for stepping up to the plate today. None of us wants to take on additional jobs and responsibilities, and many times those who are most responsible get more things added to their plate. We are so incredibly grateful for you stepping up. This is not something we realize that you had to do, but it's in your character to step up, and we're very, very, very grateful. One of the things, too, that I want to state about Blake is that he is always ready and available to explain anything. When you walk into becoming a new city council member, an elected official, looking at the books of the city budget is a very daunting task. And anytime that I've had a question, he's not only explained it in a way that I could understand it, but he's been willing to answer some of the same questions over and over again. And so I really am very grateful for that, and for the transparency of this council, and for Mayor Kite making these explanations to our public. This is not something that we are mandated to do, but it is something that we should do and ethically should do. So I'm very grateful for the explanation, because it helps me understand what our city is going through. And like Tess said, we just need to continue to pray for our community. I do want to thank Dublin United for organizing a wonderful candidate forum last night. They did an excellent job. So again, thank you, Blake.
All right, thank you, Councilman Colby. Councilman Griggs.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Blake, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate what you do. I'm back to where you started, I think. So, and echo what everybody else has said.
All right, thank you, Councilman Griggs. Councilman Smith.
I just want to let everyone know we do have a council meeting tomorrow at the Oconee Gym. Is it 5:30, 5:36?
5:30.
5:30. Just make sure y'all come out to the newly renovated Oconee Gym. And also, I just want to comment on Heather personally. For me personally, Heather was a great employee for the city of Dublin. Unfortunately, she made a bad decision, bad choices, and that's something she has to deal with. And just hope she's come out on a better side once it's all said and done. So that's all my comments.
All right, thank you for that, Councilman Smith. Councilman Mascara.
I just want to echo what Chris said. I think Heather was an excellent employee while she was here, and people make bad decisions in life, and it just, when it's dealing with taxpayers' money, we have to be protective of that. And I think our council did a good job of getting in there, and city manager doing what we're supposed to do, and representing our community and their best interest. And do also want to say, I think that the more people, I say it every time, come here and listen to what's going on at council, the more informed they are. And the better benefit they can be to their community, and they can always put their desire, like what they need to have done, on our shoulders. And I think that the city has done a good job in responding in every effort that they could. And I look forward to the next couple months being up here with y'all, and I think we've done an excellent job.
All right, thank you, Councilman Mascara. Mr. Powell.
It's very disappointing when someone you work close with kind of lets you down a little bit, but I am praying for Heather and her family and the church that's a victim of this, and hope that this can be something that can turn out to be some kind of good in some way, shape, or form. I used the opportunity this morning when meeting with department heads to talk about the responsibility that we all hold in public service, and the need to be upfront and to be transparent about what we do, and to also be responsible in what we do. And that is a great burden that we all carry. And I believe that God has placed us all here in the roles that we serve for a reason, for whatever time that is. And I believe that God's placed me in this role for a reason, and I've tried to reiterate to my staff the importance of integrity and making sure that we do the right thing in every situation, and how that bleeds down at the supervisor level down to each and every employee. So I hope that that's something that in my time with the City of Dublin can be known for. So I thank you, Mayor and Council, for your support and the integrity that all of you hold in your roles. So thank you.
All right, thank you for those comments. The only final word that I'll add, and I agree with what everyone has said, especially I think all of us were close to Heather and are incredibly disappointed, shocked, and surprised that this happened. And we do pray for her as we pray for the victims of the church. But understanding that every organization is going to face challenges. It will happen. Whatever organization you're in, it's going to happen. The question is, how do you respond to it? Do you own it? And do you try to make it better going forward? And we're taking this opportunity to certainly review all our processes and protocols to make sure that we are protecting the public's funds and earning the public's trust. That review will continue, but I think that it's important that we that we take this moment to make sure that we come out of this as a better city. All right, thank you all for being here. This meeting is adjourned.